Beneath the dazzling success of Ghost, one of the most iconic films of the 1990s, lies a haunting reality that few are aware of. While the movie captivated audiences with its heartfelt story and unforgettable performances, the real-life fates of its talented cast are shrouded in tragedy. From sudden deaths and devastating illnesses to intense personal struggles, many of the film's stars faced extraordinary hardships that cut their careers and their lives tragically short. Behind the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, their stories serve as a chilling reminder of the dark side of the entertainment industry, where fame can be fleeting and misfortune can strike just as quickly as success. In this deep dive, we not only honor their invaluable contributions to cinema, but also reflect on the fragility of life behind the silver screen. These heartbreaking stories will leave you wondering, was fame truly a gift, or was it merely the beginning of an inevitable tragedy? Patrick Swayze, born in 1952, was more than just a Hollywood heartthrob. He was a man of immense talent, discipline, and deeply buried pain. In Ghost, 1990, he played Sam Wheat, a man torn away from his great love far too soon, a role that eerily mirrored his own fate. Patrick grew up under the strict guidance of his mother, Patsy Swayze, a renowned choreographer whose relentless training turned him into a gifted dancer but also left him feeling emotionally strained. His father, Jesse Swayze, was a steady yet distant figure, and when he died suddenly in 1982, Patrick was devastated, sending him into a downward spiral of alcoholism that haunted him for years. Despite these struggles, his marriage to Lisa Nemi was his rock. They met as teenagers and remained devoted to each other for 34 years, though their relationship endured heartache, including their inability to have children. Patrick's career soared with Dirty Dancing, 1987, Roadhouse, 1989, and Point Break, 1991. But behind the fame, he suffered from crippling injuries and increasing reliance on alcohol to numb both physical and emotional pain. Then, in 2008, came the cruelest blow: pancreatic cancer, one of the deadliest diagnoses imaginable. He fought with unyielding strength, continuing to work despite the excruciating treatments. But by 2009, his body had wasted away, his once powerful frame reduced to frailty. In his final days, he clung to his wife's hand, whispering words of love before slipping away at the age of 57. Just like Sam Wheat, his love story with Lisa lived on even after death, leaving fans heartbroken at the loss of a man who seemed invincible. Phil Leeds, born in 1916, had a career that spanned decades, yet his departure from this world was as quiet and unassuming as his presence on screen. In Ghost, 1990, he played the emergency room ghost, a spectral figure waiting in limbo, a role that eerily foreshadowed his own mortality. A native of the Bronx, Leeds started in vaudeville before transitioning to television and film, appearing in Rosemary's Baby, 1968, Beaches, 1988, and numerous sitcoms where his sharp wit and expressive face made him a favorite. He was married to TV writer Ruth Rudnick, but her untimely passing in 1986 left him adrift, her absence a wound that never fully healed. Though he continued to work well into his later years, loneliness crept into his life. Then, in 1998, at the age of 82, he succumbed to pneumonia. There was no fanfare, no grand farewell, just a quiet end for a man who had spent his life bringing laughter to others, leaving behind a legacy of performances that now echo like whispers from the past. Rick Aviles, born in 1952, was a man of sharp wit and darker demons. He played Willie Lopez in Ghost, 1990, the cold-blooded thug who kills Sam Wheat, a role that cemented him as a memorable villain. But Aviles' real-life struggles were far more tragic. A stand-up comedian before turning to acting, he thrived on stage, his humor electric, his presence undeniable. Yet, beneath the laughter lay an ever-growing addiction to heroin, a habit that would ultimately steal everything from him. Though he landed supporting roles in films like Carlito's Way, 1993, and The Godfather Part 3, 1990, his career never reached its full potential because of his drug use. His personal life was equally troubled. He never married, never had children, and spent much of his time in the company of fleeting acquaintances rather than true companionship. The streets of New York, once his playground, became his prison as he slipped deeper into addiction. By the early 1990s, the damage was done. He had contracted HIV, which later developed into full-blown AIDS. By 1995, his body was ravaged, and at just 42 years old, he succumbed to the disease. Unlike his on-screen persona, there was no redemption arc, no last-minute heroics, only a lonely, heartbreaking end to a life that could have shown so much brighter. Alma Beltran, born in 1919, lived a life that was as overlooked as the nameless spirits she portrayed on screen. In Ghost, 1990, she appeared as the woman Ghost, a fleeting presence, much like how Hollywood often treated her, always there, but never truly seen. A Mexican-born actress, she spent her entire career playing bit parts, appearing in films such as Scarface, 1983, and The Milagro Beanfield War, 1988, yet never achieving stardom. While her face was familiar to many, her name remained in the shadows. Her personal life was marked by quiet endurance. Details of her relationships remain scarce, suggesting a life where career ambitions may have left little room for deep companionship. As she aged, the roles became fewer, and the industry, once her home, moved on without her. She passed away in 2007 at the age of 87, succumbing to natural causes. There was no grand tribute, no outpouring of grief from Hollywood, just a silent farewell to a woman who had spent decades on the fringes, her presence forever lingering like a whisper in forgotten frames of film. Vincent Schiavelli, born in 1948, was a man whose face was instantly recognizable, yet whose life was filled with quiet sorrow. As the haunted and tormented subway ghost in Ghost, 1990, he played a lost soul, trapped between worlds, much like he seemed in real life. Born to Sicilian parents, Schiavelli possessed an otherworldly appearance due to Marfan syndrome, a genetic disorder that not only gave him his distinctive features, but also brought health complications. Despite his condition, he built a career on his uniqueness, starring in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, 1975, Batman Returns, 1992, and Amadeus, 1984. Yet behind the success, his personal life was fraught with sadness. He married actress Alice Beasley, and though their union brought moments of happiness, it ended in divorce. He later found solace in Sicily, embracing his heritage and even writing about its culture and cuisine, but his heart remained restless. In 2005, pancreatic cancer struck, a cruel and unforgiving disease that drained his strength and left him a shadow of the man he once was. In his final days, he returned to his ancestral homeland, where he passed away, far from the Hollywood lights, leaving behind a career filled with unforgettable characters and a lingering sense of melancholy. Armelia McQueen, born in 1952, brought warmth and vibrancy to the role of Oda Mae's sister in Ghost, 1990. But behind the laughter and charm was a life filled with struggle and solitude. A gifted actress and singer, she had moments of brilliance in films like Adventures in Wonderland, 1992, and The Hustler of Muscle Beach, 1980. Yet she never reached the heights she truly deserved. The bright lights of Broadway once shone on her when she starred in Ain't Misbehavin', but as the years passed, those lights dimmed. She never married, never had children, and as the world around her changed, she found herself increasingly alone. In 2020, at the age of 68, she passed away suddenly. There were no headlines, no Hollywood tributes, just a quiet departure, leaving behind memories of a woman who had brought joy to audiences but had battled the loneliness of an industry that often forgets its own. Minnie Lindsay, born on October 7, 1912, in Missouri, USA, was an actress who had a modest yet meaningful presence in Hollywood. She appeared in several films, including the 1990 supernatural romance Ghost, where she played the small but memorable role of apartment woman. Other notable credits include Choose Me, 1984, in which she portrayed a woman on bus, and Rising Sun, 1993, where she took on the role of Grandma Otis. Her death on December 31, 2001, in Los Angeles, California, was not widely reported, and the details surrounding her passing remain unclear. Whether she succumbed to illness, natural causes, or other circumstances is unknown. Minnie Lindsay may not have been a household name, but her brief appearances in Hollywood films allowed her to leave a quiet, yet lasting impact. Demi Moore, born on November 11, 1962, in Roswell, New Mexico, captured hearts as Molly Jensen in Ghost, 1990, portraying a woman drowning in grief, unaware that the love of her life was still watching over her. Her performance was raw and genuine, a reflection of her own experiences with loss and suffering. Moore's early life was filled with instability and pain. Her biological father abandoned her before she was born, and her stepfather, whom she considered her real father, struggled with depression and eventually took his own life when she was just 15. The scars of her turbulent childhood followed her into adulthood, fueling her insecurities and struggles with self-worth. Despite her rise to fame, she battled demons behind closed doors. Her marriage to Bruce Willis, which gave her 3 daughters, ultimately crumbled under the weight of Hollywood pressures, and her highly publicized romance with Ashton Kutcher, nearly 16 years her junior, ended in betrayal and heartbreak. The pain sent her spiraling into addiction, eating disorders, and a desperate search for love that always seemed just out of reach. She suffered a near-fatal overdose, her body weakened by years of neglect and emotional torment. Though she survived, the ghosts of her past continue to haunt her. Even today, despite her success, there is an unmistakable sadness in her eyes, a reflection of the love lost, the wounds never fully healed, and the relentless battle against the darkness that has followed her throughout her life. Tony Goldwyn, born on May 20th, 1960, stepped into the role of Carl Brunner in Ghost, 1990, with a chilling performance, portraying the once trusted friend turned treacherous villain. Though despised on screen for his betrayal, in real life, Goldwyn was a man burdened not by deceit, but by the weight of expectation. Born into Hollywood royalty, the grandson of legendary MGM co-founder Samuel Goldwyn, he was raised in a world where greatness was demanded, not earned. Despite his successes in acting and directing, he spent much of his life trying to escape the long shadow of his family's cinematic empire. His marriage to Jane Muskie, a respected production designer, brought stability, but even love could not shield him from the inevitable heartbreak that life delivers. While Tony Goldwyn is still alive, tragedy has not spared him. The loss of close friends and colleagues over the years has left wounds that time cannot heal, and the pressure of living up to an impossible legacy weighs heavily. He carries the silent grief of those he has lost, each death a cruel reminder that no matter how much success one achieves, nothing can truly shield the heart from sorrow. What do you think about the deaths of the actors from Ghost, 1990? And who do you miss the most? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to watch the latest videos.